Welcome, friends,
to the How-To Heretic.
I'm Uncle Mark.
And I'm Uncle Dan.
And this is your user's guide to life on the outside.
That's right. Leaving religion is the first step into a larger, better world.
But it can also be a scary world. Things can work differently now.
It's true. But never fear. That's why we're here.
We're your audio uncles. And with help from good friends and experts in all sorts of fields,
we're going to share the stories and seek the knowledge to build a great life.
After all, you only get one that we know of, so you'd better make the most of it.
Damn tootin'! Giddy up! Well, Uncle Mark.
Yes.
We have some fun things coming up on today. I like today.
Yeah, today's a pretty fun one. We don't get bogged down in too much of the terrors of the world, I don't think.
No, well, I mean, we get bogged down in what were terrors or what are at least confusing things.
You're going to take us back to the beginning.
We're going to go all the way back, and then you're going to introduce us to some
to the moon people,
some fascinating moon people. That's right.
We're gonna visit the moon on this one, and then we're joined by the very hilarious and excellent David Ellis Dickerson, who's going to talk a little about the Bible business and the jokes he wrote for it.
Yeah, he was a professional Bibler.
Yeah, Bible joke writer.
Riddle me that.
That is a ton of fun, and let's just get right into it.
Let's dive in.
Well, my dearest Uncle Dan.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Well, I'm good. I think I'm choking on the smoke.
We're both dying, and so we have to apologize to all of our listeners because we are hacking up lungs.
Yeah,
and it's not our fault; it's California's fault.
The president clearly said if Jerry Brown would stop shooting the rivers into the ocean and cut down all the trees, there wouldn't be any fires.
Yeah, but he hasn't figured that out, and somehow Nevada hasn't figured out how to prevent the smoke from getting all the way to us.
Right. So we have burning throats.
We have the phlegm is strong with us.
So many apologies to our beloved listeners for listening to us try to breathe.
Yeah. But what we will do is have a little. I wanted to get into what the Bible tells us so.
Yeah.
I do love a good Bible story.
You bet.
A little later in the show, we're gonna hear about we're gonna hear from a much better expert of the Bible than myself.
That's right.
But for now, I decided we'll start at the beginning. In the beginning,
oh dear,
there
God.
was Genesis, and
okay.
I think we're gonna start with the first two chapters.
Is this going to take 6 days?
It may or may not. That really depends. I didn't want to get into the Adam and Eve story, really.
Right.
We're just going to talk about the creation of the earth.
Right.
Now, one of the things that you and I were spared in our Mormon upbringing,
yes,
that poor Uncle Doug was not, was the Mormon version of the creation, which if you go through the Mormon temple ceremony, or if you watch the videos of the Mormon temple ceremony on the YouTube, you get this whole very repetitive thing where God sends Jesus to create, who then sends Michael, who then later becomes Adam, and it's a very
and then Nelson and
convoluted process.
Oren, yeah,
right, yeah, exactly. I just want here's the thing. You read how God created the world.
Yep. And it's all there. It's all there.
It's all there.
Yeah.
Everything you need.
Yep.
What fascinates me about this whole thing is that Christians want us to read their book.
Sure.
If you read the first 2 chapters of their own book,
right,
you're already lost.
Yes.
It's already contradicted itself too much to be possibly true.
Yes, it trips over its circumcised dick immediately.
Instantly, and we're going to talk about that. So the creation goes a little bit like this.
Yeah. Hit me.
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. This is King James Version, as just in honor of Uncle Doug.
Yeah.
And the earth was without form and void. I'm not sure why. It seems like earth would have a form.
It seems like void would be the thing before earth.
It would be the thing that, yeah.
Right.
But I think void in this case just means got nothing on it.
Okay.
And darkness was upon the face of the deep, so we know that there's water.
Right.
The deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters.
Yes.
So he's a sailor.
He's a water skier.
He is.
Yeah.
But just his face.
Yes.
Oh, no, just his spirit. Anyway, on the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. So apparently when he invented light, it was still merged with darkness. He separates them out. That's day one.
So that's called twilight. That's like the middle.
Something like that.
Right? That's okay.
God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
And he created the earth and the sky in total darkness.
Right.
When he had the capability to make a work light.
Yes. Yeah,
But-
he realized after he created those, this would be easier if I could see.
He didn't know there was that thing on the iPhone where you like flick up and you get the little flashlight.
Right. He didn't have that. God had not created the
Probably had the
iPhone yet.
iPhone 6.
Right.
Right.
That's the seventh. That's the ninth day
That
that he creates the iPhone. So all we've got so far is heaven, earth, light, and dark
it's a good start. It's for day one.
for day one.
Huzzah.
Yeah. Day two comes along, and things get a little bit squirrely as far as I'm concerned. God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament.
Okay, so the firmament I would take to mean the stars.
No.
No.
The firmament is essentially, and this is, we get, basically just consider, we got to go flat earth on this,
Why not?
and there's a dome over it.
Okay.
And it's a solid dome because we don't want the water in the sky. You know how the sky is made of water?
I've paid enough attention to Ken Ham and his shenanigans that I know about this a little bit. Yes.
So the sky is made of water. There's a dome over it. Other translations don't call it the firmament. Other translations call it what do they call it? I could look it up.
a dome.
A vault. They call it a vault.
Oh, a vault. Okay, interesting. The vault of the sky.
The vault. It's vaulted. The sky is vaulted. That keeps the water up top from. And when it rains, I guess it's leaking. I guess that's just the vault, the firmament leaking. Yes. And he divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above it. And he called the firmament heaven. And then there was morning and evening, and ta-da, that was day two.
So day one, impressive.
Light and dark,
Earth, sky, ocean, and the sun.
Right.
Day two,
it feels like he's just created sort of a bladder to keep earth and heaven from crashing into each other.
Yeah,
He's created a thing.
He found a pond liner.
Right, maybe he created earth and heaven, and they kept bumping. And he was like,
I don't know if I'm stealing your thunder, but this is that second day is where the young Earth creationists and assorted lunatics think that the water for the flood came from. Was from the external ocean.
The ocean on the outside.
The ocean on the outside,
Sure.
because obviously there's not enough water on Earth to cover all the land, or it would be doing it already.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and we'll get to more of that later.
We'll visit the Ark Encounter another time.
Yes, indeed. So that was day two? Day three, we got dry ground.
Yeah.
And he moves all the water to one place.
Okay.
Don't worry, that's never explained why there's now water in many places, because he moves all the water into one place. Right. So all the water's into one place. He calls it the lands and the sea, and then he dumps some plants on there.
Okay.
So that's day three. Day four, he decides that it's confusing, this whole day-night thing, so he puts lights in the sky to separate day and night.
He already separated day and night on day one.
No, he separated light and dark. You just hold your horses.
Oy.
So now we've got yeah, exactly. We've been having days this whole time.
Oy.
There's been there has been we keep hearing that there is a morning and then an evening and then a morning.
Right.
So we've had days and nights this whole time, but I guess the light situation was confusing. So
To whom?
So he puts in.
There's nobody there.
Shut your face hole. He puts in the firmament lights. There's a greater and a lesser light.
Yeah.
That's the sun and the moon.
Okay.
Not to be confused with sun, Myung Moon.
That's right.
And then he puts the lesser light, and then he puts a bunch of stars up there. So basically what he's done is just added lights to this dome that he's put over
And
everything.
he did it because he fucked up on day 1.
because it was confusing.
So day 4, this is day 4?
Day 4.
So day 4 is when you take a look around and go, here's what I got wrong on the first 3 days.
Right, exactly.
Plus grass.
You're like, wait, what? Well, the grass was 3.
Oh, it's 3. Okay, so the shrubbery went in on 3.
Right.
Yeah.
And apparently it wasn't growing very well because it didn't have any sunlight. So maybe that was the thing.
Okay.
Okay, so that's day 4. Day 5,
Yeah.
apparently it was very important that he create fish and birds.
Sure. I like to eat both of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So thanks for that, God.
He created fish and birds, and then he told them to be fruitful and multiply to the fish and the birds. So I guess he also invented sex.
So he's Aquaman.
on day 5. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Birdman.
And Birdman.
Is there a Birdman?
There sure is Birdman
Okay.
with Michael Keaton.
Right. Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. So
and
he's
the Birdman of Alcatraz. He's that too.
he's all of those. So that's day 5. Day 6, he creates land creatures. And it goes through this whole thing. I don't understand it. All of these things are created after their kind. So he creates cattle and every creeping thing and beast of the earth after their kind. And God made
Does that mean, is he talking about how when they reproduce the same version of the thing?
You tell me. I'll read it to you verbatim.
Yeah.
And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good.
So
that makes all the sense in the world.
this comes from a time where people were probably fucking surprised that tigers just made tigers and they didn't also make butterflies and earthworm, right? They probably
I don't know. Like at this point, it is clear. But there's no point in human history when it wasn't clear that when 2 gazelles fuck, they make a gazelle.
Yeah.
There's just no point when that was a problem.
And 2 goats just make another goat.
So why they would have to differentiate this anyway?
Because they were stupid, Dan.
Well, they were a dumb group of people.
They were stupid, but their book maintains, and we
Yes.
all get to enjoy all of the wisdom and scientific factuality that comes out of it.
Right. Now, the very last thing, this is we're ending day 6 here. It's coming to a close.
Saturday night.
And God decides to make a hymn. God decides to make both hymns and hers. God makes people on day 6.
Saturday night. Saturday night, it's time for people.
Yep, absolutely. God says, "Behold, I've given." God, so God creates man in his own image.
Yeah.
In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them.
Yeah.
So God is both male and female, apparently, in that. Anyway,
Yeah.
And then God says, and by the way, all the rest of this shit is for you.
Right.
So there's our basic roundup.
Don't be confused by the light. I think I fixed that.
I think I've got day and night sorted. You tell me.
The switch is a little fritzy, so just,
Just-
fuck with it and it'll work out. And
Yeah.
then
If the moon sometimes goes away, I haven't figured that one out yet. So about once a month, you're going to just lose that thing, but it'll come back.
And then all the kind after kind after kind, creepy and beastie and fishy and birdie thing, you can eat all that shit. Just don't eat apples.
Well, we're getting to that.
Yeah.
That's chapter 2.
Oh,
and
God.
chapter 2 is where it gets really, really fuzzy.
Yes.
Because we've got a solid timeline,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, it's a week. We've got a calendar week now.
We've got and chapter 2 starts with, by the way, on the 7th day God rested, and now every 7th day is Sabbath and it's holy, and that's when God apparently creates religion.
Right.
So
That's when he mowed the lawn, he watched the game,
Right.
hung out with his friends.
So boom, we've got the week.
Right.
And that's the most important invention we've got, apparently.
Yeah.
Then we get into the story. We're going to start the story of Adam and Eve.
Okay.
Now, Adam and Eve, as you might have guessed,
It's not Adam and Steve, Dan.
it's you're goddamn right. It's
Yeah,
not.
you know what I'm saying?
As you might have guessed, those are humans.
Yes.
Those are people.
Right.
Those are day 6 folk. Then,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Wrong.
Okay.
Let's get into it. These are the generations of the heaven and the earth when they were created. In the day the Lord God made them, made the earth and the heavens. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb in the field before it grew.
Wait.
For the Lord had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. Now that's
Okay, so
a little confusing. So I'm going to switch from King James to the New International Version.
cool.
Now no shrub had yet appeared on earth, and no plant had yet sprung up. For the Lord God had not sent rain on the earth, and there was no one to work the ground.
I'm just raising my hand.
Yes,
over here.
Mark, I will call on you.
Okay. It's day 3?
Plants are day 3.
Okay. But now they're not.
Well, are they? Anyway, let me continue.
Because clearly, as we all know from observing the earth,
Yeah.
no plant can grow without a man to till the soil.
Apparently not.
Yes.
So we're coming from that. But streams came up from the earth and watered the whole surface of the ground. Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being.
So at the end of chapter 1 ends Saturday night.
Saturday night, he creates people.
People are extant.
Right.
Adam and Eve are just checking it out.
Right. But then we seem to have gone back in time to day 3 when before there were plants.
Right. And people.
And then, long before there were people.
Yeah.
3 days before there were people.
Days before people.
And then he just accidentally creates a man on the wrong day.
Out of mud.
Out of dirt.
Yes. I think mud, it holds together better.
Sure. Absolutely. Then there's a weird... then he creates the Garden of Eden.
Oh.
And apparently he created Adam for the sole purpose of being slave labor in this garden.
Right. To make the plants grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And it actually says that. And he's got some rivers flowing, and that's watering some stuff, which is great because he hasn't even, one assumes that he hasn't even created the sun, the moon, and the stars yet. If we're still in day 3, let's assume that we've moved on to day 4.
Okay,
I don't know.
Where's Eve?
Nowhere. She doesn't exist yet.
So she got... Okay.
So hang on.
Yeah. I work in the film industry, and we have this thing when we shoot that's called continuity. And that's how you make sure that a character that doesn't exist yet, that you haven't been introduced yet, doesn't wander into an early scene of the movie because you're going to introduce them for real in scene 35.
Every movie set has a person whose entire job it is
to sit there and notice this shit.
to notice it, to take Polaroids of all of the people so that they can say like, oh, nope, you're not wearing that tie yet.
That's right. You picked it up in your left hand, not your right.
They did not do that for this book.
There was not a script supervisor.
We needed one.
God the Father, who created the Sky Vault.
He hadn't created script supervisors yet.
What day were script supervisors created on? Well, not in the first 7, apparently.
Not in the first 7. So here we go. We've got this man wandering around pre-day 6 somehow.
Or post day 6, and they just voiped the day 3 through 6 out of chapter 2.
Yeah, I don't know what okay.
Look, but it's continuous because it says at the beginning of chapter 2, God rested on the 7th day.
Yeah.
This is the cliffhanger was people created Saturday night. Tune in next week, picking up with God resting on the 7th day, all that already having happened.
Right.
Okay.
But it does feel like they said, let me go back a bit.
But it doesn't.
Because there's no plants.
But
it goes back.
It just ignores what whoever the guy who wrote the first chapter.
Look, stop arguing just listen.
They got a new showrunner for chapter 2, and he just was like, "Oh fuck, okay."
They did get a new showrunner, so now like they had to recast a couple people. They've offered no explanation whatsoever,
right?
And they're just ignoring a few of the plot points from
the pilot,
from the first season,
the pilot, yeah.
So finally, God then brings in a bunch of animals. So apparently man was created before the animals now in the reboot.
Right.
And God has Adam have name all of them however he wants. And
Sure.
also he's like, hey, you see anybody you like among these animals, keep them for your helper.
Okay.
And
I don't like where this is going.
weirdly,
We did animal law last week.
yeah, exactly. Weirdly, Adam decides that none of them are good enough for his helper.
Yeah, what a prick.
So-
Little choosy for being alone.
Right? Well, they can't talk and whatever. Anyway, so God decides he's going to make him a helper, puts him to sleep, rips out one of his ribs,
Yeah.
and then makes a woman.
Rib girl.
Apparently, he needed some DNA. I don't know.
Rib girl, yeah.
Rib girl, yeah, exactly. So now we've got woman being made completely different day than men. So,
which is now like really, if we're trying to keep track at home, this is like day 9.
yeah, we've lost track of the days entirely at this
So
point.
one could interpret that there are 2 competing Adam and Eves.
There's 2 competing creation stories entirely.
But okay, if this was written by the people who wrote Lost,
right.
there's 2 Gardens of Eden, there's 2 Adam and Eves, because there's 2 creation stories with 2 different people, with 4 people.
Well, the thing is, no, because in the first one, God just creates men and women, like people.
Oh,
So-
multiple people.
So I feel like
Plural
maybe,
people.
Maybe we didn't even, maybe the first chapter didn't even envision a Garden of Eden at all. It was just like, I'm going to drop some on them. I'm going to drop plants. I'm going to do fish, and I'm going to do birds.
Vault.
I'm going to do a vault. I'm going to do animals and people. Go. And then they went back and they were like, let's be more specific and let's have some real fun.
I think
with
that's
this
very
one.
generous. I think that's a very generous Genesis
Yeah.
that you've just tried to pull there.
Yeah.
I think it's just a shitty mess that 2 different people wrote, and
Right.
nobody bothered to think about these don't jive.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's, and that I don't think we need to go much further beyond that, because after this, we launch into this, the story that we'll have to get to soon, which is the story of Adam and Eve,
Right.
which makes total sense.
Which has led to thousands of years of the needless suffering of women.
yeah.
And
yeah.
and this is the original sex shaming story.
I'll leave you with how we end chapter 2 of Genesis.
Oh God.
Which is that the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. The man said, "This is now bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man." Which that's the only time that's ever been the case.
Sure.
And then verse 24 says that this is no longer a quote from Adam. Verse 24 says, "That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh." Does that make any sense to you?
It makes no sense to me at all. I already hate. Usually when you start a new series, you start binge watching a new series.
Sure.
You give it 3 episodes.
Sure.
If it's not good after 3 episodes, you're just like,
Right.
I'm out. I'll go back to watching Arrested Development or something.
Correct.
But I feel like we're about 3 episodes into this, and I don't like it.
No, it's not worth your time.
It's super bad.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna rate it a thumbs down.
Wardrobe is really like stupid and minimal.
Well, speaking of wardrobe, I will give the very last verse of chapter 2.
Okay, do it.
Which may be enough of a cliffhanger to get you on to the next episode.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right.
Adam and his wife were both naked, and they felt no shame.
All right, fucking, I'm going to watch the next episode.
Yeah, we got you, baby. We got you.
Well, gee, Dan, thanks for that, the story of creations.
Yeah.
That was really under-informative.
It makes every bit of nothing. There's nothing in there of any value except to understand how the sky works, which is the water is kept above us.
Yeah, the orbiting ocean. So
right.
All that is true, people. Love it, live it, learn it. Let's move on.
And move on. Well, hey, Uncle Mark.
Hey, Uncle Dan.
I need to know. I've been married twice. I'm on my second marriage.
Yeah.
Currently.
Yep.
And I think if there's a third,
Yes.
I want it to be a big affair.
Heaven forfend.
Right.
But should the need arise,
Yeah, I want to go big.
when your wife's life insurance matures,
Finally, yeah. When
and heaven forbid something were to happen the next day.
obviously nothing's going to happen, but when it does,
Yes.
I want to go big. I want it to be huge.
I got the people for you.
Do ya?
I got the people for you.
All right, clue me in.
And we're going to meet some really cool people today. And before we get to their very, very particular method of marrying, I want to talk a little about them because they haven't done that visibly in quite a while. But
Sure.
they did have a more high profile moment just recently
Oh yeah,
that I want to start with. So, and let me paint a picture for you.
please do.
You remember after that mass shooting at that high school?
The one.
Okay, I'll be more specific. The one in Florida.
Oh,
Okay, I'll be more specific.
okay.
The Stoneman Douglas school shooting that gave us a lot of dead kids, but also gave us David Hogg and Emma Gonzalez, who are
Sure.
currently kicking around the NRAs like it's a screamy soccer ball.
Cute little activists.
Yeah, cute little kids doing good out in the world. That shooting.
Sure.
Now, remember in the days following, some lunatics in bullet crowns had a prayer service for machine guns just miles from the massacre site. You remember that?
Oh, I do remember that.
And everybody was like, "What the fuck?"
Well, like, why are you monsters? That's a weird thing to be.
Super weird thing to be. And they freaked out. That freaked out everybody so much that they moved an entire school nearby to a different location to get them away
Wow.
from this incident. So those fuckers, because it was an act of terrorism essentially, but it's those fuckers.
Sure.
Those fuckers, my dearest Uncle Dan, are part of what remains of the Unification Church of the United States, pejoratively known to history as the Moonies.
Oh,
Yeah.
The Moonies.
So when I was a kid, the Moonies were on TV, and my mother, who was not seemingly aware that she was also in a cult, used to scream about how could these people be so stupid and join this cult.
Right.
As you'll see, there is also a racial element to it that would probably animated some of my mother's excitement about it.
Sure.
So the Moonies, or rather, the Unification Church of the United States, was founded by a guy named Sun Myung Moon,
Yeah.
born in 1920 in what is now North Korea.
Okay.
During the Korean conflict, he was captured by North Korean forces and thrown into a prisoner of war camp, ostensibly because he belonged to a Christian group that, a little mysterious about this, practiced sexual purification.
Oh.
The official charges that were used against him were spying for the South, as
Sure.
probably everybody was charged with.
Sure.
And still is.
That's an easy one.
That's a gimme. That's just a gimme in North Korea.
Yeah.
But the other charge was polygamy,
Interesting.
which is a little nod to our hometown listeners.
Can I just say that if you're ever considering even the slightest any religion and the word purification comes up,
Run.
You got to get out.
You got to get out.
You got to run.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
That purity's not coming easy. And I'll show you that it did not come easy here as well.
Right.
So anyway, after he was charged with polygamy and they were going to stick him in this camp for 5 years, he escaped back to the South and just lived in privation because the war was on for a few shitty years. But apparently not before he encountered Jesus himself on a windswept mountainside that told him, Mr. Moon, that he was the natural heir to Jesus and humanity's true father.
Oh.
And obviously nothing bad has ever come out of a moment like that, Uncle Dan.
No.
As we well know.
When you learn through supernatural means that you are the savior of the universe,
Right.
that's a positive.
Only thing that's going to come out of that is good times.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
So it was during those years of turmoil and hunger in a hovel in Busan that he began to write the thesis of his weird new religion, which is a very conservative take on some of the Bible, a little Confucianism, an extreme slant on marriage and sexual purity, and a whole lot of, I hate those fucking communists so much. So the weird little seed that the whole shebang sprung from was that Eve had fucked Satan before she lay with Adam.
Whoa.
So,
Slut.
exactly. Long story short, women are bad and evil, and some extremely weird shit. Weirder than the garden variety women are cursed in the normal kind of Christian worldview.
Right.
Had to occur before women could be tolerable in human society. So,
Okay.
as you do, he declared himself the perfect Adam, as well as the second coming of Christ, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And that Korea itself was the Adam nation, while the United States would be his archangel nation, and he would rule over it as a Messiah.
The Adam nation versus the Archangel nation.
Together, juntos, hand in hand.
Is that meant to mean anything?
Well, it's meant to mean that the Korean, he kind of had a racial element to this, that what the Korean race is the perfected race.
Okay.
But the Americans are really good at war.
So is South Korea Adam and then North Korea is Eve, the fallen one?
No, it's not divided. He's very mad about that. Right?
Okay, well.
So, but America's really good at war, so he will use them to destroy all of the enemies of mankind.
Oh, of course he will. Yeah, all that makes sense.
So, what we've learned, Uncle Dan, if nothing else, after the so many segments on this podcast, is that in addition to being sexual criminals 99 times out of 100, prophets think big.
Yeah.
They are big thinkers. So,
Well, I mean, if you're a small thinker as a prophet, we're not going to hear about you.
I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna cut my dick off and join a fucking flying saucer cult unless you've got some big plans.
Right,
baby.
yeah, exactly.
So,
Although I would love a prophet who was like, look, we're going to keep this just the four of us.
yeah.
And I've got some messages from God for us, but not the rest of
And
them.
what we're going to do is we're going to go around and make sure everybody really screws the lids of things back on really tightly, just so they keep.
Yeah, we're the church of non-perishable.
That's our thing. So Moon's ultra-nationalist ideas with his little Church of Crazy captured the imagination of some of South Korea's military middle management. And in a very crazy piece of luck, a military coup soon put many of his followers in high government positions. His chief deputy, who was going to suffer long and hard in this story, Bo Hee Pak, was sent to D.C. to be the intelligence liaison between the CIA and its Korean counterpart, the KCIA.
Wow.
Yes, the Korean Central Intelligence Agency.
Sure.
Because children wrote this story. So suddenly Reverend Moon had some juice in both the Adam country and the Archangel country. He was ready to make his move.
You know what? It just goes to show that he's not full of shit because God's making it happen.
It almost seems like the way was made ready, right?
Yeah.
So here's his move to the United States. Basically, that move involved coming to the U.S. in February 1965 with a suitcase full of Korean dirt. Then, this is true, driving around to all 48 contiguous states in a blue station wagon, burying a clump of the diminished Korean peninsula in each state to give followers a Satan-free spot to pray in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's not just that the Korean people are perfected.
The land itself is divine.
The very land, the very earth upon which they trod,
Right.
was
divine.
consecrated.
Was
yeah.
consecrated ground, so he just put a little bit of it everywhere. And I poked around to see if I could find where he buried it in our fair state of Utah.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything. So
What?
if anybody knows, I'd love to.
I'm furious.
Or if you know where it is in your lower 48 state, send a picture.
Yeah.
Send a picture of the Satan free spot.
Tweet it at us or put it on the Facebook or whatever.
So, as this was the mid-'60s and the baby boomers were just trying to figure their shit out and had yet to decide that ruining everything for everybody was their real spiritual destiny. love you, boomers. They were trying all kinds of shit on for size. And what a buffet there was, Dan. Love and exploration and community and drugs and music and hippie nice Jesus and Eastern this and that and more love and free love. But there was a subset of these teen and 20-something seekers who liked the nice Jesus and the community on all that.
Sure.
But for whatever reason, we're not super down with the drugs and the free love.
Rude.
Hippie prudes,
Right?
if you will. No judgment. I've seen the footage from Woodstock, and I can say with some certainty, I would have left that weekend still a virgin. It's not my jam. So
I would have taken one hit of that brown acid and been like, I'm out.
I think that was Altamont, wasn't it?
I don't know.
And anyway, we're not boomers. We don't know these things.
We don't know.
And if you were a Jesus-loving prude that wanted to live communally and work 7 days a week for nothing, then the Moonies were right for you. So the ranks swelled for some reason from a few thousand in the early 70s to so many in the late 70s and early 80s that they were filling huge stadiums with brides and grooms to be wed by their one true father, Reverend Moon, and their one true mother, Hak Jahan, Reverend Moon's wife.
She's the Sheila equivalent.
Yeah, she's the Sheila, Ma Sheila.
Yeah.
Kind of. There were a lot of Ma Sheilas in the Moonies, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like...
It unraveled spectacularly. So we'll get there. Many of our listeners, our age, Dan, or older, may recall these peculiar images from the evening news in those decades of 6,000 identically dressed brides in white, complete with veils, paired off with 6,000 handsome grooms in matching black tuxedos, presided over by two people dressed like the Nemoidian trade ambassadors from the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, I remember distinctly picture images of like just stadiums.
Yeah.
Like a football stadium full of like cake toppers. Just
totally identical.
White and black. White. It was just boy, girl, and just a whole bunch of sort of everybody's getting mass married.
And they were strange. These mass weddings were strange. But, Dan, who are we to cast aspersions on the happy day of so many thousands of couples? A day made so much happier because so many of them were just meeting for the very first time.
Oh, my God.
While others had the luxury of getting to know each other the day prior or, at most, the preceding week.
So these people weren't like, they weren't all like, let's save up our wedding until he comes.
No.
They were just unmarried people who he, like, paired off.
Yes.
Okay.
So they were arranged marriages, and they were arranged by King Daddy and Queen Mommy.
Right.
Mr. and Mrs. Reverend Moon themselves. And what they would do is the applicants, and some of them were not young, would send an 8x10 portrait along with a self-addressed stamped return envelope to the Moons. In time, they would be invited to the stadium to meet their forever spouse.
Wow.
Very commonly, it was a union between one non-English speaking Korean and one non-Korean speaking English speaker.
Wow.
But that's what the rest of your life is for, is to figure that shit out.
Sure,
right?
Absolutely.
And oftentimes they were also divided by as many as 3 or 4 decades in age.
Wow.
And you literally didn't know who you were paired up with.
I mean, it's probably excuse me.
Goodness.
It's probably they just randomly paired people together.
Well,
they got a bunch of applications. They were like boy, girl, together. Boy, girl, together.
In the same way that a young Mormon's mission call is divinely inspired.
Right.
By the random computer generator for which mission needs a person.
Right.
Much the same way. So, and this whole time, Reverend Moon had been, while this was going on and his ranks were swelling, he'd been amassing oceans of political capital and goodwill with the most conservative political forces in America. As a hyper-Christian Korean Cold Warrior, he kind of hit all the Republican G-spots, right?
Right.
Sexual purity, military belligerence, rabid anti-communism, prosperity gospel sympathies, the whole shebang.
Wow.
He was the whole package.
Other than not being white, which really would have been bingo on the board.
I think that most rabidly right-wing Christians, if you're Asian, you're one tick above. You're one tick below white.
Yeah.
Right. You're closer to the front.
And also there's this sort of novelty thing that they can fetishize. There's this idea of like, he's one of us, but look at how different he is. Look at how inclusive we are.
We're cool, right?
Yeah.
So he also larded out an enormous amount of cash to right-wing politicians and causes. That didn't lose him any friends on that side of the aisle. Neither did his purchase of the Washington Times, a newspaper that to this day, as you probably know, Dan, remains a red meat spreadsheet for all movement conservatives who refuse to see any separation of hardcore evangelical Christianity and the military-industrial complex.
Right. It's the only non-fake news that exists anymore.
It's from the very beginning, owned by a crazy person's church. So
yeah, If you do not get the Washington Times confused with the Washington Post or the New York Times.
No,
it is a different animal.
It's a rag.
It's truly fake news.
Yeah, it's a rag, and it has been ever since Moon bought it in the 70s. So.
Right.
But he was such a goodly Christian right wing guy. In 1974, he was the leading Christian voice, along with our friend Orrin Hatch, fighting for the noble cause of preventing Richard Nixon from being impeached.
Oh, right.
So he's been on the right side of so many things. But 10 years later, Dan, the savior of all humanity and the second coming of Christ, spent 18 months in jail for massive tax fraud and evasion because obviously that was going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he wasn't white enough to get away with that.
And he was pretty blatant about all of his tax shenanigans. Even for religion, he crossed some lines, right? So, but it wasn't long until the Moon's long courtship and funding of the American right redeemed them to their political patrons. And in one of the strangest and surely least appropriate moments in Congress, when there's many, the Reverend and Mrs. Moon were crowned King and Queen of Humanity, and that all kings and presidents had declared him humanity's savior, and furthermore that Jesus, Buddha, Hitler, and Stalin had been reborn as perfect people through his teachings by congressmen.
You kind of just baked my noodle there.
In 2004, he was invited to the Dickerson Senate office building and was crowned by congressmen.
What?
That he and his wife were the saviors of all humanity and the king of the world.
How? I'm still kind of hung up on the whole Hitler and Stalin being reborn as like why are we bringing them back?
Yeah,
do Bertolt Brecht and I don't know. Somebody, do anybody but Hitler and Stalin.
Well, I think he was showing the sheer power of teaching.
Okay,
his sexual purity.
Yeah,
was that even the baddest boys.
Do you have a sense of what sexual purity means?
I'll tell you all about it.
Okay,
yeah. So the weirdly, the congressman that placed the crown on Reverend Moon's head was Democrat Danny Davis. Who, to this day, has never been able to adequately explain what the fuck he was doing involved in this.
I don't understand anything that's happening right now.
So, yeah, it was 2004. It was a very bizarre moment. You can look it up. Everybody's run from it. Everybody that was involved was like, yeah, fuck, I don't know what was going on. He just showed up and we crowned him king of humanity.
That is the most amazing thing.
Yeah. So,
I mean, that is Sacha Baron Cohen levels of what the fuck is happening right now?
Totally. And that was the influence he had over kind of the conservative side of American politics.
Yeah.
Is, I want you to crown me king of humanity. And they're like, cool, it looks like the conference room is available Thursday at 6.
Right. I mean, that's one of those things, but like, if he stepped out and said, I've been punking everybody this whole time.
Yeah.
You'd go, oh, that makes more sense.
No, he was the king of humanity, Dan.
Okay, well, I didn't even know we had a king. Nobody told me.
That's what I'm doing here.
Okay, well, I thank you, because frankly, I've been acting wrong this whole time.
That's the point of the whole segment.
Yeah.
So, okay, Moons, congrats on getting crowned the savior of humanity and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the psychotic devotion to marriage and sexual purity, getting to your question, Dan.
Thank you.
Because regular listeners of this podcast will already know where this is headed. The gravest sin under the roof of the reunification church was sex before marriage.
Right.
This was a one-way ticket to hell forever. No takesies, backsies, no forgiveness.
It's thus explaining why everybody was suddenly willing to get married to someone they didn't know.
To a complete fucking stranger on television. This led to the pathological obsession with mass marriages and arranged marriages rather than romantic couplings.
Right.
But it gets sillier.
Because please just give me someone to put my penis in. Please.
Yes. It gets sillier. Mr. and Mrs. Moon claimed to have a perfected, Eve-free union and bloodline because of adherence to the aforementioned sexual purification process. So after your arranged marriage, televised mass marriage to a stranger with whom you had nothing in common other than believing an old Korean tax cheat was Jesus 2.0.
Right.
Here's how you get the Eve and Satan stink out of your sinful woman.
Okay. I'm looking forward to this. Is this stuff that I can use at home?
I'm still the people fall for this shit is just incredible to me. But okay, first, totally abstain from consummating the marriage for 3 months to prove you are not a lustful scumbag.
Okay. That's fair.
Then when that's over, because you total fucking stranger, you got to know their name first.
Right.
Then when that's over, you begin a 3-day, highly detailed sex odyssey that begins with the couple ritually beating each other with bats.
Oh.
Yep. And then you are run through a series of sexual positions, all this in front of your framed portrait of Reverend Moon, and ending in the missionary position, the woman bowing symbolically before the man to restore the lost ideal of goodness.
Well, yeah.
So far, I'm on board.
Yeah.
So while Mr. and Mrs. Moon were busily shuffling glossy 8x10s around on the boardroom table to randomly choose pairs of lives to ruin, their perfected purity had sired 13 perfected children. But all was not well in the house of Moon, Uncle Dan.
Oh, no.
As you will see. So, as it turns out, they were busy being super trillionaires, so Moon and his wife really didn't give much of a shit about their kids, so they left raising them to some plebeian serfs in the church.
Sure.
And as you would expect, these lowly people lived in terror of earning the Moon's wrath by disciplining any of their unruly flock.
Right.
So the kids became like a pack of insanely wealthy wolves.
Right.
One son tragically died in a road accident at 17, and his father had a problem because as an unmarried man, he could not go to heaven. So he solved the problem by forcing his friend's teenage daughter to marry a portrait of the late boy that she carried down the aisle very unhappily.
Can I just say I'm very glad that he didn't force her to marry the corpse of the body of the son, because that's where I thought you were going.
Something tells me he probably thought about it.
Yeah.
Something tells me he thought about it. But his older son became something of a cocaine hoover who also fancied guns. He dragged one of the sisters into the habit, and they were just fucking holy terrors to the people with the unlucky task of trying to feed them and generally keep them alive.
Wow.
Moon's lieutenant was charged with trying to bring the older coke fiend to heel, but again was terrified to touch him, so he would beat his own quiet son whenever Moon's kid got out of line in hopes that would convince him to slow his roll.
So, oh my God.
And it did not.
No.
It's so fucking twisted.
Oh, wow.
So around this time, another of Moon's sons, feeling despair and trapped in an arranged marriage, jumped out of the 17th floor of a hotel in Vegas.
Oh, God.
The crazy eldest coke fiend died of a heart attack at 45. The entire perfected family had either died, fled in the night, or was involved in huge embezzlement schemes and or fighting over their aging fathers and the church's billions.
Huh.
With the Cold War over and the church exposed publicly as mostly a front for businesses and an ATM for far-right causes, membership was sadly plummeting.
Oh, dear.
So
That is a shame. Because if there's one thing I want, it's for the Unification Church to be doing well.
yeah, it's a super fucking pity that things turned so unexpectedly south.
Yeah.
So what was left of the worshipers gathered one Sunday for the usual prayer and song together in front of the portrait of Reverend Moon that they would also fuck in front of, only to find it had been replaced with a flat-screen TV.
Uh-oh.
A video was played in which Moon's American-born and educated daughter, Injan, spoke.
Okay.
With a very bad fake English accent for reasons unknown, about how she and her father used to enjoy seeing Liberace perform live and how amazing his costumes were. Followers were baffled by this odd development that became the weekly meetings. Basically, the fix was in. The fight for the remaining assets between his wife and what was left of his children spiraled down from there. That daughter, Injan, disappeared inexplicably from the weekly broadcasts.
Oh.
And the world was only to find out later this purified child had gotten in the family way with a guy in a rock band to whom she was very much not married.
Oh.
While she was still married to her arranged husband. No, not the dead kid with the portrait, another guy.
Okay.
Which brings us full circle to the Sun Young Moons being arrested for polygamy back in North Korea. It seems the high priest of militant right-wing sexual purity had some issues with just that in the past.
He was bad at math. That's all it was.
Yeah, it's just miraculous what shitbags manage to end up with billions of dollars because they cook some crazy scheme up. Like, how did this thread all the needles? It's like what we talk about with Mormonism.
Yeah.
There were a ton of other ideas that didn't survive from the same place in the same time.
Yeah.
That didn't survive. How? The same with Christianity. How does it thread the needle?
So, there's always somebody who's just got that zeitgeist going.
So it turns out that the current Mrs. Moon is not the first Mrs. Moon. The Emperor of the world, savior of humanity, the second coming of Christ, and the perfect Adam left his pregnant first wife before the start of the Korean War. Long story short, that child appeared later in life pretending to be the child of one of his closest lieutenants, Bo Hee Pak, from the beginning of our story. And it was only later that Moon's daughter came to understand the reason that Papa wouldn't let her marry this roguish, handsome scamp was because it was her secret half-brother from the not fully erased pre-purity days.
Holy shit.
So that's it. Moon's dead. His family is a perfect model of purity and morality. And now his son has prayer services for machine guns with people wearing bullet crowns in neighborhoods where a mass shooting has just happened. So you guys are awesome.
Just the perfect religion.
Perfected. Absolutely perfected.
Couldn't go better if you tried.
Yep. So that's the Moonies, everybody. So I hope that was informative. And again, if any of you know where they buried the dirt in your locality, I'd love to know.
I want to go to that spot.
So hit us up.
All right.
Let's move on.
Let's do it.
Hey, Uncle Dan.
Yeah.
Week after week, people tune in to this garbage, and they like it. So there's no accounting for taste.
Yeah, indeed. But one of the things that is that we have to, in order for us to keep going, we have expenses, we got bills to pay.
Yeah,
and
we need microphones. We need liquor. We need bail.
We need hookers and blow.
All these things are not free. They can be cheap.
Well, and the ones we go for are definitely not expensive, but we people can choose to help us. Now, we are recording early this week because one or both of us are leaving town, and that's just me.
So forgive us for not going through this week's patrons. We'll do it next week because we're right on the heels of our last recording.
Right, but if you want to hear your name spoken by your favorite uncles in the world,
and it shall echo through eternity on the internet.
And that's a good reason to do it. Go to howtoheretic.com.
Yeah.
Click on that Patreon button, and it'll take you to it. And then you can become a patron. You can help support what one Eli Bosnick, no lesser man, than Eli Bosnick, called something about.
He said it is the most underrated atheism podcast on the internet. So let's prove him wrong, because he's always fucking wrong.
Yeah, overrate us.
Yes, make us overrated. And speaking of overrating, if you have the opportunity, just go to iTunes or whatever other pod blaster where you can rate us. Give us a high rating. Just help us
5 stars or more.
5 stars or above, and you will also live forever in our hearts.
Yes, indeed. Let's move on.
Well, Uncle Dan.
Yes, sir.
From time to time, we three white jackasses will shut up, or partially shut up, and invite sometimes a third white jackass or other sort of person onto the show.
Yeah.
And today's one of those days.
Yeah, every now and then we get to meet someone who is as aware as we are that the Bible is just a madhouse of lunacy.
History's most dangerous doorstop, I like to call it.
And today is just such a day. David Ellis Dickerson, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, it's a total delight. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, David is a celebrated storyteller. He's been on The Moth. He's been on the NPR. He's been on all the things. And David, we wanted you to come on and talk to us a little bit about your life, then about a particular job you had that is very much in our lane.
Yes, indeed.
Right.
But we'll get to that in a minute. First, we wanted to start with you, like so many, like us, and like so many of our listeners, were raised in deep in religion. Is that true?
That is correct. I was raised an evangelical Christian and an extremely devout evangelical Christian in Tucson, Arizona.
Mm.
And so much so that I wanted to be a pastor. And so I studied biblical studies and religious studies at the University of Arizona. And those listeners who have listened to my stories on This American Life will probably find this familiar. But I basically a bunch of things happened at the same time that sort of made me question my faith. First, just exploring it on a scholarly level was one thing that you never do in Sunday school.
You can't do that.
So
it's poison.
You don't notice, right? I don't know, noticing that like a lot of things happen over and over again. And when scholars call them doublets and assume that they didn't all happen, that's a shock. But it also makes sense of the text. And you think, well, that's a responsible thing to say. It doesn't sound like they hate Jesus. It sounds like they're trying to understand the book. And so little things like that, hanging out with people from other faiths who are also perfectly, genuinely kind and nice and had different approaches to Scripture that I couldn't quite argue with.
Very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Right. And then, but also, ultimately, the big thing that happened was that I, in a single week, 3 of my best friends came out of the closet.
Oh, wow.
And I had to really choose, like, wait a minute. So do I double down on this and say sexual rigidity and morality is my thing? Or do I trust my love for these people who I know are not evil and not perverse and not demented or insane?
Right.
Do I trust that maybe the Bible, which, oh my gosh, I think it's a Bronze Age document and always has been, right, and I've never noticed that before, maybe it doesn't know what it's talking about.
Yeah.
And it was a deeply challenging experience. And I realized at that point that I had never really known what faith was before. Because the second I questioned the Bible, I thought, wait a minute, what if everything is wrong? What if when I die, I'm dead? It was terrifying.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I remember consciously moving forward and thinking, I'm going to behave as if life has meaning. And I can't prove it.
Right.
And that was actual faith in a way that I had never experienced it before. I didn't realize that I had always had some support under me. Then I've never really looked back.
See, gay people, we can fucking do anything. Huh?
Right.
Huh? We can change the world, people.
I had a similar experience, Mike. You know, I ended up finally leaving religion in large part because I had gay friends. So, yeah, gay people you're breaking the church.
We're destroying marriage. We're fucking up the church. Every right-wing fever dream is true.
Well, actually, there's a great little book, fascinating book called Unchristian that looks at, it's by the Barna Group, a guy named Kinnaman, who looked at survey data. He runs the only evangelical Christian actual scientific database for surveys.
Yeah, Barna has a lot of interesting facts and figures.
And the most interesting thing in that book is if you look at why, first, that conservative Christianity has taken a nosedive in its popularity in the last 10, 15 years. And when you ask people what they think about fundamentalist Christianity, 90% say anti-gay.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is the ding against them that is hurting them. That is driving people away.
Yes, indeed.
Well, then, so you had a wonderful turn with your gay friends in college, and you don't have to explicitly describe the four-way that you guys had. That's cool. That's
none of our business. It's none of our business.
But then, David, life led you to a job position in television, didn't it?
Yes, that's the weird thing. So life had its ups and downs. I graduated with a PhD in English. That was useful. And I found myself homeless, basically, living in my dad's trailer, looking for any kind of job. I had no car. I was in rural Tucson, and I couldn't find anything at all. I would need to get a bus to get to work, and then I would make $10 an hour. And how do you save up for a car on that?
Yeah. Right.
And out of the blue, one day while I was on Facebook, instead of looking for jobs, I got a job on Facebook. I got a Facebook window popped up and said, "Hi, I'm a producer in Hollywood. Your name came up as someone who knows the Bible, is funny, and knows puzzles. And I am producing a Christian game show, and we need writers.
Holy crap.
Could you send us a sample?" Yeah. I suppose I should have mentioned in the backstory that I've been writing crossword puzzles this entire time.
I
Another,
see.
fruitless endeavor that I never expected to pay off.
Right.
But a lot of my friends in the puzzle community also work in game shows, and my name came up. Like, this show appeared. Someone at Game Show Network, I think. Mind you, I'm a writer. I'm at the very bottom. I have no idea what conversations are actually going on.
Right.
But the impression I got was this was 2012, and they were looking at the huge popularity of Duck Dynasty and thought, what's a game show version that would capture that same demographic?
How can we get all the homophobia without the camouflage, basically?
Right, right. Well, actually, it was, how can we get all the Bible thumping without the overt homophobia?
Yeah.
Family oriented without the controversy. Right. Yeah.
And right, so the show was called The American Bible Challenge. It had Jeff Foxworthy as a host.
Yeah.
And you can now see 2 seasons of it on Netflix.
I watched a few episodes of that show, and I was always a little bit fascinated by it and a little bit horrified by it.
Yes. Now, did you watch season 1 or season 2? Season 2 is better.
I don't remember. I wasn't paying much attention. It was just, if I was flipping around and it was on, I'd be like, is he, that's the guy that tells the redneck jokes, and a bunch of people who ostensibly know the Bible pretty well. But one of the things that you've talked about is the fact that you don't need to know all of the Bible because most of it is not family friendly.
Right. Well, actually, most of it isn't even interesting. That's the biggest problem. Is you've got, like, the reason no one quotes the prophets is because it's talking about stuff that cities no one knows about, people no one has heard of, and it's referring to events no one remembers. Pretty much all of Leviticus and Deuteronomy, right, is just rituals that literally no one observes and which are very, very repetitive.
Right. And deeply stupid.
There are genealogies and like the first and second Kings and first and second Chronicles are repetitions of the exact same lineages and dynasties and reigns of this person who lived this long, and then God took them and they moved on to the next king, and it's all so tedious. No one would ever bother to remember it. Right. So it's not even that it's bad for morality. It's hard to find morality in it because it's just a really, really tedious cultural history.
Just lists. A lot of it is just lists.
Yeah.
It's those goddamn begats. They're the worst.
Yeah.
And so what other? So there were the boring bits you had to leave out.
Right, and then we had to leave out, of course, right, the non-family friendly bits, and there are we were told, of course, we had to hew generally to the Sunday school lessons because it turns out if you're doing a game show, people tune out if they don't know any of the names.
Right.
So you can't ask about numbers. You can't ask about dynasties. You have to say Noah, Moses, and so on.
Right.
Or at least mention the book names, Nehemiah, Judges, whatever. And so we found ourselves very quickly going to sort of weird corners of the Bible, but in search of interesting side stories. So, for example, one thing I had completely forgotten, is that how Elijah calls down fire from heaven on the prophets of Baal, right? It does that whole thing on Mount Horeb or Carmel, whichever it is. Well, there's a completely separate incident where someone says, "Is your name Elijah?" And he says, "If my name is not Elijah," or something like that, like, "I am Elijah, and I will prove it to you by calling down fire from heaven." And he kills 50 people who just asked him the question,
who were just trying to introduce themselves.
Well, they were probably hostile Philistines. He was basically killing Philistines all the time.
Right. Sure,
but
is that where his disciple Elisha got his idea for the bears?
Well, you think of Elisha as the one who kills people for asking impertinent questions,
right?
But in many, many ways, Elijah and Elisha are the same prophet. I've heard it theorized that Elijah and Elisha are sun and moon gods. That have been, which is why they get taken. Like Elijah gets taken up to heaven in a fiery chariot.
Right.
He's a sun god. He's associated with fire. I don't know why Elisha is associated with bears and axe heads, but
And baldness.
right. Well, baldness does make sense.
Right.
If he's bald, then of course he's the moon.
He's the shiny moon man.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
So anyway,
But there. Sorry, Dan.
I'm guessing you can't do sun and moon gods on Foxworthy's show.
exactly. But also, you couldn't prove it, right? You would have to say this scholar thinks this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
But that was the other problem. So we had to eliminate things like we couldn't talk about the time God tries to kill Moses and Zipporah, I think, that cuts off Moses' foreskin and throws it on his feet, in quotes.
Like you do.
Right. And so we couldn't talk about that. We couldn't even mention the word concubine because they were terrified that some, kid was going to be watching at home and going, "Mommy, what's a concubine?" And so this left us with very little to talk about in some ways.
I don't know how you got 3 seasons out of what was left. How did you do it?
We were running out of Bible by the end of season 2. It was pretty clear.
Yeah.
Well, it is a 1,000-page book, so you should have something left over.
You'd think, except that you have to stick close to shore, right? You have to do the names everyone knows. And how many ways can you say David fought Goliath?
Right.
Like you've got how heavy was the spear? What was the name of the valley? What did he do just beforehand? That kind of thing. There's a couple of questions like that. But after a while, the people watching the show, the producers who don't know the Bible are going, "Can we stop hearing about David? Switch it up." Right. And then you mention someone that they don't know. They go, "We don't know this person. Change it to someone we know." And so you wind up circling around this very, very tiny circle of the same names over and over again, particularly Moses, David, and Jesus.
That's so funny. I mean, and one of the problems also, when I go back and we revisit the Bible quite often on the show, and when I go back to revisit the Bible to do some research for the show, sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to read the story of blank because that was one of the big stories growing up, and I've heard that story a million times." And you fully expect it to be this long, drawn out story, and it's half a chapter, or it's it's this tiny little thing that has been blown up by those who want for whom it is expedient, because it's one of the stories that's actually not horrific.
Or I can draw a sermon illustration out of this. So let's get it psychologically into the head of a person who showed up in a parable to make a single point. Yeah.
And the other, I'm sure, major difficulty of the equation is, the general Christian doesn't know all that much about the Bible. But then there's people who do. There's the really dedicated class of evangelicals who do massive Bible study. But even among them, I'm imagining it was hard. You have to make questions that people have a fair possibility of getting right?
Exactly. And usually we did this I'm sorry, this might be a good example of what I can do. Can I break in, give you a quiz right now?
Yeah, let's do the quiz.
Okay, yeah.
This is just one I thought of just the other day. I've always wanted to do this. And this is going to be, let's say 5 questions.
Okay. Are you going to do a Foxworthy impression?
No.
I thought you already were.
As everyone knows, now you know John 3:16, correct?
Sure.
Can you quote it?
That's the "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son." Is that right?
Correct. That's correct. All right. And in fact, it's so popular that it has become a thing, on T-shirts everywhere. John McClane 3:16 was the latest Die Hard. It was. I think one of the Die Hard movies was actually released on March 16th for that reason.
Oh, how funny!
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So at any rate, I thought I would look at some of the other less loved 3:16s in the Bible.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
So I'm going to quote a 3:16, and you tell me what Bible book it comes from.
We're definitely going to nail this 100%. There's no chance we're not going to get this.
Thank God we can edit.
To the woman, he said, "I will make your pains in childbearing very severe. With painful labor, you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you.
Genesis.
That is Genesis, correct.
Nicely
All
done,
right, ding,
Dan.
ding, ding.
Yeah, that's God being that's the first, not even the first. It's one of the incidences of God being an asshole to women. It starts a very long line of a long tradition of him just fucking over women.
Yeah.
All right, here's one.
Okay.
So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I will spit you out of my mouth.
I'm going to go with Matthew.
I'm going to say that's gay sex 3:16.
It is Revelation, Book of Revelation. It is talking about the church in Laodicea, right? The one that was neither hot nor cold. Let's see.
All the way at the end. All the way at the end. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I jumped there for you. Okay,
Yeah,
here's a fun
we've
one.
bookended it so far.
Ready?
All right. Yeah.
By faith in the name of Jesus, this man whom you see and know was made strong. It is by Jesus' name and the faith that comes through him that he has completely healed him, as you can all see.
Well, it's New Testament.
Yeah. What book is Lazarus? Is it No, it's not Lazarus. It's a.
I'm gonna go Luke. I'm gonna go Gospel. It's got to be one of the Gospels, right?
I'm going to quote this again. By faith in the name of Jesus, this man whom you see and know was made strong.
David, you're acting like we've read this thing. We haven't read it cover to cover.
No. But if it was the Gospels, Jesus would be doing the healing.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So this is Acts 3:16.
Okay.
There's Peter in the colonnade. So anyway, and that's an example of how you can get it if you think for a second, even if you've never heard this quote before.
Right.
Here's another weird one. Long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. I'll give you a hint. It's Old Testament.
I'll defer to Mark.
Oh God. Proverbs.
Correct.
Oh, I got that one.
Damn.
What else would it have been? Right?
Yeah.
I really, really wish there had been a Song of Solomon 3:16. The last it stops at verse 11, because there's nothing else sounds like Song of Solomon. That would have been a fun,
Right.
It would have been a fun, easy get.
It is the bizarre. It's the bizarre Bible after dark segment, and then the rest.
Okay,
is...
so you're doing you're 2 for 4.
Yeah.
Here's the last one.
Okay.
The last one. And again, well, actually, you know this is going to be Old Testament. The Lord says, the women of Zion are haughty, walking along with outstretched necks, flirting with their eyes, strutting along with swaying hips, with ornaments jingling on their ankles.
I'm going to guess that's...
Psalms? No, that doesn't sound like a psalm.
I think it's Exodus.
The women of Zion.
Zion
Zion doesn't show up in Exodus. Zion is post-David.
Yeah.
Phone a friend.
This was the long shot. This is the hardest one, but it's Isaiah.
Should have guessed Zion. Yes.
I wanted to end on another misogynistic note. Since we'd opened with pain in childbirth.
I am genuinely shocked that we got any of them correct. So I'm feeling really chuffed that we're even close.
We're more critics than scholars, David, I think you'll find.
Well, at any rate, that was sort of the way we thought of, because it turns out to have been a really, really fun experience and a bit of a challenge, really, to say, after years of kind of hating the Bible and fighting against fundamentalist Christians in everything I did and said, to be forced to kind of go, how can I make these people who are not like me happy? Without increasing their homophobia, without increasing their fear of hell, without all these other things. Like, how can I emphasize the good parts? And in many ways, the game show itself worked toward that. All of the money went to charity. Everyone talked about the charities that they were raising money for.
Yeah.
It was very, very sweet in that respect. We were, in fact, definitely, like we were told, but we also knew, ixnay on the gay stuff, like you can't, homosexuality, because you can't talk about sex in general. You aren't going to talk about how much Jesus hates gay people or whatever.
Right.
Not Jesus, but, Paul, and and so on. So we got to sort of emphasize the weird portions. We found, at least what I found, is that the way to make the Bible interesting is to emphasize the parts where you can't make fun of the Bible. But if you are a conservative Christian whose identity is bound up in the Bible, you are forever being baffled by it.
Right.
You know? And it's so the way to make fun of the Bible is not to say, look at this dumb thing, but to say, well, this is strange, isn't it? Ha, ha, ha. Let us share a joke and now move on.
Right.
And a really, really reliable way to do that is to compare the Bible time with modern times.
Right.
Boy, if they put that in Twitter, that would be like this, you know. So right away, that became the way we did the jokes. It was like, you know, who tweeted this, whose Facebook page is this, you know, what movie poster features this prophet, and so on. We would do a pop culture and Bible mix.
It sounds to me like you had. I mean, look, if I had been hired to do the job that you were hired to do, I would have like 10% of my brain would have been focused on doing the job, and 90% would have been focused on how do I get subversive messages across.
Right.
Was there a subversive side to what you were doing?
No, not really. I mean, I knew better.
Sure.
Essentially what happens is I saved up all the really, really rude stuff privately to share as a joke among the less Christian members of the writing staff. So, for example, this is one of my favorites in the third season, so you'll never see it. We started doing Bible anagrams where we just did like prophet names and names of Bible books and that kind of thing.
Sure.
And just you'd give you the anagram and you had to figure out what the word was. And in that process, I discovered that the book of Thessalonians is an anagram of isn't an asshole.
That might be the most important Bible code discovery in the history.
Someone called Dan Brown.
Fell in love with that immediately. Yeah. And of course we knew we could never use it, but I had to share.
That's awesome.
I love it. Well, this has been delightful. As someone who's left, you know, one of the goals of our show is to sort of help people out as they exit from their entrapments in their religion. You had something you wanted to say about what it's like to leave, and especially as that pertains to the Bible.
Right. I think one of the things that people don't realize, or I guess I should say, when I left fundamentalist Christianity, one of the things I noticed very early on and very guiltily was that I was losing my ability to quote scripture, especially chapter and verse, to know it off the top of my head. And of course, in fundamentalist circles, that is a sign of spiritual decay.
Oh,
right? You have to be able to do the sword drill. You have to be able to know where that is right away. You have to, get to the yellow highlighted section of the Bible. And I want to assure people, as no one was around to assure me, that actually that's a sign of health and growth and healing, because it means your world is getting bigger and you have more than one leg to stand on to interpret the world. And so instead of interpreting everything in your identity through a kind of fearful clutching at a single authority, you are actually learning to feel your way around a more ambiguous world and come to conclusions yourself. And it feels like you're losing certainty, because that's what maturity is. And so so do not be nervous about it. Embrace it. That is, in fact, the feeling.
I'm going to take that as a cue that me not remembering anything at all anymore means that I'm the healthiest motherfucker out there.
Oh, I'm going to live forever if that's the case. So.
Well, I will say, like I have an obsessively weird knowledge of old movies, for example, but I don't rely on it for my identity. So I think there are people out there, Bible scholars, for example, who know the Bible really well and aren't wedded to it out of fear. They don't need to. They are drawn to it because it is genuinely an interest of theirs. So I think the other key is, are you feeling bad because you want to know the Bible and you don't? Or are you feeling bad because you feel a social pressure to know the Bible more than you do? that social pressure is a tip off that you're in a bad place, and knowing less Bible is healthy.
Wow, that is excellent, and I hope our listeners take that to heart, because we have, in a less articulate way, been trying to stomp that into people's heads for almost 50 shows now. So that's a beautiful thing.
Well, congratulations on your pending 50
Well,
show.
Thank you
and
so
thank
much.
you very very much for all the work you do. This has been really
thank
really
you
fun.
so much for coming on. Maybe we'll have you back. We'll make you craft more game shows for us.
Or we'll do some of the dirty ones that you could never do on the show.
That
All
would
right.
be funny.
We are-
A lot of those are unfortunately visual.
Oh, damn it.
Just know
'Cause I draw
Just know
cartoons,
we are
so.
officially in talks about a new game show right now. Starting now.
All right.
It's How to Heretic is looking into this. All right. David Dickerson, thanks so
All
much
right.
for coming on the show.
And David, if people want to find you out there in the world and see your dirty cartoons and see you your other work, where can they find you?
Well, I'm on a bit of a web hiatus at the moment, but you can find some of my books online at Amazon, and I think most people like the cartoons. I've done a daily napkin cartoon for a couple of years called Slightly More Pleasant, and that's on Facebook. It has its own
Right
Facebook
on.
page.
Well, David,
Excellent.
thanks so much.
Yeah, sure thing. It's a pleasure, and I hope to talk to you soon.
Yep, talk to you soon.
Great.
Well, friends, that's it for this week's show.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Go ahead and send us an email if you want to. howto@howtoheretic.com.
Or if you've got a 316 that's particularly naughty, leave us a voicemail at 903-88-HOW-TO, which is 903-884-6986.
Yeah.
Also, we're on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, hey, thanks so much to all of our patrons. Once again, we love you dearly.
And thanks to our good friend Cody Layton for editing the show.
And thank all of you, dear friends, for tuning in.
Bye-bye.